As
guys?
promised, dude.
Yeah.
Finally. We did string people along for a couple weeks.
Been string.
I hope it lives up to the hype,
This is
dude.
part one.
Yeah, this
of
is part
the
one.
Crusades, brought to you by Matt McCusker. Now, Matt, before we get started, Crusaders, that's a racist term, isn't it?
Why is it racist?
I don't know. Susquehanna University had to change their name from the Crusaders to the Riverhawks because Crusaders is racist.
Riverhawk sounds more like a slur then.
It certainly does.
They call someone a Riverhawk?
Especially you drive up Route 15 along the Susquehanna River, it's just trailers. It's just,
Yeah.
Dude, it's insane. These
Is it
trailers that are
really?
on the banks between the fucking highway and the river, there's like, sometimes it's pretty far out. Sometimes it's like 100 yards of like forest to the river. And it's just, you see like deer stands, like shacks that dudes,
What?
the Riverhawks are in there.
That's fucking weird.
Yeah.
Is that what they're really named after? Dudes that just camp along the river?
No, I think they're named after just hawks.
The actual hawk that
Riverhawks
flies.
is a sick name.
Yeah, but like
Crusaders is the best though.
that rules, dude. There was a lot of Catholic schools who were named the Crusaders.
Bishop
as well.
McDevitt's the Crusaders.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick. They used to carry a big golden cross out onto the field.
They're
Pretty sick.
way of the cross.
Yes.
That's basically what Crusader even means.
How fucking sick is it in Kingdom of Heaven when he's
Awesome.
like, my master's here.
Yeah.
He's like, so the Jerusalem is here.
The Jerusalem.
Then you see the fucking giant golden cross come out of the fucking, what's that word for desert heat rising, where it's like, you know what I mean?
Where the heat rises off the
Yeah,
ground.
it makes it blurry.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I've never known what to call that.
Isn't there a word for that? There certainly is a word for it.
For the heat.
Reflection of
Heat flexion? The heat flexion?
Anyway, I like to see the golden cross emerge.
That's a good way to frame this. Should what happened be grounds for taking away team
school's
sports names?
nicknames.
It's not like, I mean, if you're going to go after, like, you know, there was like the Redskins and stuff. That's
You know,
obviously.
that still irks me. And I know we're about to talk
Sure,
Crusades.
please.
But last night, the Philadelphia Eagles played the Washington Commanders.
The Commanders?
They're the Commanders now, which, by the way,
So they switched it to the guys who took out the
Yeah.
the fucking Native
Commanders? You mean murderers? Is that what we're talking about?
That's what they call them now?
Yeah. And it bothered me. It's like, dude, just be the Redskins.
The
Look,
Commanders?
it was racist. You did it.
What color is their jersey?
Same exact thing. Yeah. They have a W there for Washington. Instead of it was one of the cooler symbols in all of football.
Yeah, man. And nobody
Anyway.
looked at it like, oh, they were like, dude, those guys look fierce.
Yeah.
It was a badge of respect. So now they're the the Washington French fur traders or something?
Yeah.
Like, what are they?
Yeah. They're the fur trappers.
Yeah, what is the name after the guys who
There's
destroyed them?
Syracuse used to have a rough one.
Well, they were the orange men.
They were the orange men. Now they're the orange.
Oh, they were the orange men?
Yeah.
Who were they going after, 4 or 5?
They were
He who
going
should not be
after
named.
Native Americans. They were calling them orange men.
That's what that was?
Yeah, their logo used to be. Hold on.
Oh, no. We're going to go down there. People wanted glory back then really badly. So there's a bunch of like noble-born people and like the top cream of the, you know, upper crust of French society who were like, we're going to go down there and do the damn thing. So by then they had about 60 to 100,000 people in France.
Pope, they did condemn the attack on the Jews.
Did they? The
Sorry
Pope
to
did?
circle back. I was reading.
No, that's a good.
I never had heard about the Rhineland massacres.
Yep. How many did they get? What was it? What were the numbers?
2,000 estimated. 2,000
Ooh,
Jews.
Really?
That seems high. No, I've never heard of this, but that seems high.
Do we have any photographic evidence
It's
of
like
that?
one drawing, and there's only like 6 guys in the drawing. So I'm gonna go ahead. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. I'm gonna call bullshit. I've done a little bit of research. Nah,
I don't think so.
that doesn't sound like something we would do.
So yeah, so they get the upper crust, the real knights and soldiers. They get 60 to 100K people. Basically 7,000 to 10,000 were fully mounted knights on the minute,
Sick.
on the ponies.
On
They
the
had
tiny
7
horses.
to 10, yep, on
Yes.
tiny horses. 35K to 50K were infantry, and the remaining bunch were just women and children.
Bring down the kids.
WC.
You're gonna have to bring the women and
The
children.
rest were just for fun.
If I was going on Crusade, I would. You know who I would want nagging the entire trip? I'd like wife and kids.
You needed them. Also, though, to be fair, if
If you left them, they were dead.
they were dying.
Yeah.
Yes, you had to bring them into battle, and you know, the night gets lonely, dude. Night gets lonely.
Yeah, you're gonna want some kids.
So these dudes would like, this is still like, feudal times. So like you would be like living on a fiefdom and the knight would be like, yo, I'm crusading. That means if I ride, we all ride.
Yeah, we're all going.
So they all had like a posse that had to go to the Crusades with them every single time.
This guy opening your wooden hut door,
your
hovel, being like, "Get up!"
I hope today's not too hard. He's like, "Where are we going?" We're walking to the Holy Land.
We're gonna have to walk to. It's like, where's that? Like, I don't know.
I have no clue.
There's no maps
for what. Like they were making people shit on the border of some fucking. I don't know, man. Come on, stop fucking asking questions.
Yeah, put down the mud you're eating. Get up.
Yeah, and the knights, they wore a thick chainmail armor. That was a big thing here. Like
Perfect
you were saying,
for the desert.
Dude, the Seljuk Turks were light armor, moving quickly.
Yeah.
These knights were built for just like slow, just thick, heavy warfare. So they had big metal helmets, big metal shields, double-sided long swords, about 2 feet.
Yeah.
These swords about 2 feet, which, by the way, they weren't really sharp. The long swords are more of a bludgeoning tool.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. They would just crack you with this fucking thing.
Yeah.
I mean, they could probably stab you with the front of it. Then they had, swords, longbows, all that stuff. Rudimentary crossbows back then, too.
Longbows are pretty tight.
They're nasty. 300
300
yards.
Don't
300
even start
yards,
on the
bro.
British longbows, dude.
300 yards, those things are going back in 1095.
The British are very proud of the longbows.
Did they start them?
Which is the gay, of course, the British are the longbows. We stand back here and we fire upon you.
Dude, 300 yards.
You'll listen to us now. God damn it. These. You know, I always thought that those like leather caps they all used to wear about as gay as it gets.
Yeah.
I liked a lot of the cool outfits, but the little leather. You ever see a longbowman?
When did they wear like old motorcycle helmets?
Longbowmen look like sissies, dude.
What are they rocking? Let me see. So now I'm curious. I'm imagining like a leather skull cap with like a belt buckle hanging down over
Crusader
your
ones
ears.
look pretty sick.
Let me see.
But no, they're Robin Hood types. Like tights.
Oh yeah, it's kind of sick though. I mean, you're just throwing in Robin Hood in there, so I'm being like, yeah, that guy kind of ruled.
Actually, I am starting to like these.
So these dudes, they would show up in fucking yoga pants and just launch bows and arrows at you.
They'd get Lululemons.
dude.
Yeah.
How fucking funny was that?
These hats. They'll go like the guy in the yellow. That fucking.
Yeah, that's.
I hate these dudes.
God,
I hate those dudes.
They wore like knapsacks on their heads and just launched bows and arrows.
But dude, Crusade, you toss a cross on any uniform, I'm like, dude, that's sick.
Yeah. I mean, dude, to be fair, that is pretty nice to be like a prairie mother and just be firing bows and arrows 300
just
feet.
crushing tough dudes.
Just over the walls of a village, just causing an absolute... That was the funny thing you'll see in the warfare back then. It was like you just sat outside somebody's village or like city, really, and just bothered them.
Yeah, you siege
try to start. Yeah, siege warfare.
Diseased animals over.
It's so
like, this
sick.
stinks like shit. Throw it over there.
So,
what about Lululemon?
oh, dude, how funny was that?
That was one of the funniest.
We talked to we're jumping to the present day timeline, present day TL, present day. Me and Shane were walking. The bro came up. We're chatting. It was pretty sick. And then we were walking past Lululemon, and in my head, I was thinking like, how funny it would be if this dude thought we were going into Lululemon right now. Didn't say it, and the guy was like, all right, later, ducks off, and he's going to Lululemon, and Shane goes, do they even sell, totally serious, by the way, you're like, do they sell guy clothes in there? And he stops and goes, you knew that, dude, you fucking knew that, because he was going in there to buy guy clothes.
He was very nervous. Just, you knew that, dude.
That made me laugh. Dude, I'd be so mad.
Made me feel bad. I wasn't trying to make fun of him.
No, but it was so funny. You're like, holy shit, they sell guy clothes in there? He goes, did you fucking do that,
dude? You knew that, dude. You busted my chops. Come on, man. Don't make fun of me.
Oh man, that was making me laugh. So,
sorry, I am paying attention. I'm just looking. I'm looking things up.
Please,
with you.
keep researching, dude. So so here's the thing with the First Crusade. None of the European kings entered the First Crusade, so the forces were all kind of split and unorganized. So there was all these factions of knights where you'd have like these high upper crust, like knightly caste, like Lannister type guys who were like vying for total. There was like 5 or 6 guys who thought that they should have been like crowned the like, reigning supreme over the entire First Crusade.
Yeah.
But there was no real process for it other than like enough people thinking you were sick and like declaring the fact that you were.
So we're talking Raymond of Toulouse.
Yep.
Toulouse.
Yep.
Adhemar of Lepie.
Bohemia.
Godfrey of Bouillon.
Yes, dude.
Baldwin of Boulogne.
Yep.
Hugh of Vermande. Stephen of Blois.
Stephen rules, dude.
Stephen of Blois.
That was Robert's brother-in-law, Stephen.
Robert of Flanders. Robert Curtis.
Dude, so here's
Pete the Hermit.
Here's the here's another thing too people don't realize. There's a lot of people say these guys were opportunistic, like they were just going there just for their own themselves.
To loot.
Here's the thing, dude.
For booty.
So yeah, there was dudes who were seeking military glory and had their sights set on basically like setting up like new towns and cities. They would be kings, but they could never be a king really, but they could be the king of like some other place. But there was other guys too. They have like records of people selling like all of their property. They had like knight type dudes who would sell their entire family fortune to go over there. Yeah. So it wasn't just people like. Yeah,
there are dudes that bought in.
There was a lot of them that do it, and there was also the fact that like if you didn't go, you looked like a fucking pussy. So like if everyone else went, if you were like all knights, and it was like why aren't we going? It's
when
like,
everyone goes, how do you not just take everyone's shit? Yeah, but, like all right, my army's gonna stay. Now we're gonna take everything.
But then it would be like, dude, you'd be a crime against your own country, man. And like it's like the whole honor thing. They'd be like, so you coward, backstabber. So they would get back and like they would burn your whole family alive.
Oh yeah, there's always the threat of that.
Yeah, while they were out avenging.
That was a good deterrent.
Yeah, dude. While they were out avenging God.
Yeah.
You stole all of their shit, and then you're getting tarred and feathered. Your family's getting raped and killed.
Damn it.
Yeah. So here's the main characters. According to this book, the main characters of the First Crusade with a little something about them. Count Raymond of Toulouse. He was a 50-year-old war veteran from southern France who had experienced fighting the Moors in the southern front. He was also rumored to have his eye ripped out by his face by a Muslim on the border of a holy city on pilgrimage.
Well, that'll fucking piss you off.
Yep, and he said he kept it all the way back as a reminder to show people, being like, fuck those guys. So he was pissed off. So he had his never forget. Bohemond of Taranto, he was a 40-year-old Italian Norman, and he grew up while his father, Robert the Wily, was conquering Italy. So I don't really know who the Norman are, but whatever. I just imagine them as like the whiter Italians.
I think so.
Gardine, you might be a Norman. So this guy, Bohemond, he was basically just grew up in an ongoing military conquest. And it says I think his dad was doing, he was fighting the Greeks, he was fighting the Greeks in oh no.
Tell you what, this is why I was always confused, because Norman, you would think Normandy in France. Which is northern France. The Normans were a population arising in the medieval Duchy of Normandy from the intermingling between Norse Viking settlers and indigenous West Franks and Gallo-Romans. The term is also used to denote emigrants from the duchy who conquered other territories such as England and Sicily. So he was just from Sicily.
Okay.
But Normandy's borders the channel between England and...
Is that what it is?
So yeah, like D-Day.
So this guy might have been a Viking. He might have been just a regular...
Could have been a Wop or a Viking.
Yeah.
That's kind of...
Got you.
But if you said he was a Italian Norman, he was Sicilian.
That's probably what it was. So he grew up while his dad was just like devastating parts of Italy. Came of age. He like just was doing, that was like his work, going to work with his dad.
Yeah.
Grows up and then he fights the Greeks in a 4-year Balkan campaign. He was rumored to be tall as fuck and jacked. And they were like, he knows a lot about, everyone was like, yeah, this dude's like legit. But he also, for some reason, didn't have any money, which is weird. So he was like seeking riches. He had like military experience, but he just like didn't have any dough. And he was joined by his cousin Tancred of Hauteville, Duke of Lower Lorraine.
I like it.
So Tancred was his boy, and Tancred apparently was very... These two dudes had their eyes on the prize politically.
Yeah.
These guys were like, we want to take different other stuff, or take like territory. Then there was Godfrey of Bouillon, dude, beast, enemy of the Pope. It was in hot water. He ruined church property. Yeah.
What are you doing?
I don't know. He had beef with the Pope. The Pope was not well liked at this point.
Pope was a bitch, dude.
He was rubbing up against like the elites, and they were like, dude, fuck off. And that's why they think the Pope this was like basically a power play.
Yeah. This is from Alexios in Constantinople.
What do you mean?
Constantinople.
Oh, Alexios is that what it was from?
Alexios, the reason, quick research.
Yeah.
That is important. The reason the Pope was doing that is because the Byzantine Empire was fighting with the Muslims. So the Byzantine Empire, which is like modern day Turkey ish.
They reached out.
The fucking Constantinople the Muslims were over there.
Yeah.
They were doing battle with them, and they were like, Christian brothers, we need help. send some people, and the Pope was like, Muslims are pieces of shit. And
that was part of it. They go and they have to help him.
Yeah.
And that was the big beef because they wanted to go take the holy cities, and a lot of the Crusades was just them helping like strategic cities of Constantinople. Dang, dude.
Yeah.
Dang.
Because it's the Eastern Roman Empire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had his whole sight set on retaking all this. That's the whole first Crusade was them taking back cities for the for the bros to the east. So Godfrey, he was also jacked and tall, and apparently the area he lorded over was like notoriously unruly. And so like it just sucked. Like he got a bad land to take care of, and it was just like you're a constant threat of being cooed.
Yeah.
So he was kind of like, people assume he wanted to crusade so he could get a new fiefdom in the east. He was kind of like, this kind of sucks, I want to get out of here.
Yeah.
So his brother Baldwin of Bouillon was also a power hungry bro. So he went with him. So that was the southern faction of France. And then there was the northern Frenchman. There was Robert, Duke of Normandy. His brother was the King of England. And then he was joined by Stephen, his brother-in-law.
It's not Lionheart right now, is it? Who's the King of England?
No, Lionheart I think was Second Crusade. I forget the name of the guy, the King of England. It was like, I don't remember. But then his cousin Robert II, Count of Flanders, came too.
Yeah, Richard was.
Yeah, he wasn't yet.
He was 100 years later.
Yeah, that was the second one, right?
Yeah.
Apparently the Lionheart was the fucking man.
Richard Lionheart, dude. How sick is that name?
Dude. So
I'm sorry I'm cutting you off.
No, please. I actually like the whatchamacallits. The different researches. It actually helps. So a full year passes, dude. A full year passes, and then all these dudes, like the 7 knights and all their forces.
I'm sorry to cut you off again.
Go ahead.
I'm looking at Richard Lionheart's Wikipedia, and it says early life, blah, blah, blah. Next thing is King and Crusader. So I clicked it. First thing, coronation and anti-Jewish violence. Hold the fort.
No, not again.
God damn it.
Lionheart?
Yeah. They think he was Richard Lionheart was gay. He said, "I'll be behind the couch."
What?
Richard the First was officially invested as Duke of Normandy on July 20th, 1189, and crowned king in Westminster Abbey on September 3rd, 1189. Tradition barred all Jews and women from the event. Some Jewish leaders arrived to present gifts for the new king. According to Ralph of Dicetto, Richard's courtiers stripped and flogged the Jews and then flung them out of court.
Dude,
God damn it, dude.
There's nothing funny about denying access to Jews or denying access to women, but when you pair them together, it's very funny for some reason.
Yeah.
It's like, no Jews or women. It's like,
why?
Why the
fuck? Then a rumor spread that Richard had ordered all the Jews to be killed.
Oh, no.
You know how that rumor kicks up?
Yeah.
And the people of London attacked the Jewish population.
Jeez, man. I think it's like something you got to do. I think it's like, they hit like a ship with a bottle before it goes off.
Yeah.
If you go to fight Muslims, you have to like just rough some Jews up and then run over to the Muslims. It's a warm up. You're like, all right.
It's a tradition.
Yeah, that's crazy. Dude, that's fucking nuts.
Yeah. What the fuck?
That's so fucking bizarre. But there's no like, they never mention it. They're like, oh yeah, and then like right during that time, they like just fucked the Jews up, and then they went and did the Crusades too.
Yeah.
But also, it's probably just part of that. Like, yeah, you're fucking kind of like those guys. What the fuck they doing? Tell us.
Once the Pope starts like,
yeah,
you're either Christian or we kill you. That's what we got to go over there and do. They're like, hey,
true.
You know these guys with the land that live next to us?
Yeah.
We can go take all their stuff.
Yeah, they're probably kind of crushing on the Jews for. It's the green light.
But I also think the Jews weren't doing great.
No, back then I thought
European Jews, I think, were not doing that great back then.
Well, there's that whole thing of like I don't know when in medieval times they said they were like barred from doing certain jobs and they only let them do money stuff. So they'd be like, you guys can loan money and be like the money changers.
Yeah.
And then they were saying like these like dukes and lords would be like, if they wanted to gain favor, they could be like, you know who's fucking you guys over? The Jews. And they'd be like, they're loaning you all this money, but the Christians weren't allowed. By their thing, they weren't allowed to loan money, so they just it's like when they outsource torture. They'd be like, all right, Jews, you guys do the money stuff, and then they would be like, yo, these Jews are fucking you guys.
God damn, hold the fort and then again.
This is what it was. When they would end up owing their moneylenders, who were the Jews, money, they'd be like, or I'll just turn my whole population against you guys and never pay you back. So,
All right, I'm sorry.
no,
Sorry to cut you off.
That's actually
I was just trying to look up Lionheart.
that's riveting stuff, though.
First thing you click on is he flogged a bunch of Jews when he got coronated.
No Jews, no women. That's the thing.
I do like that. Then the rumor started
That he's gay.
that Richard said all Jews should be killed, and the people of London attacked them.
But that was just a rumor.
Yeah, it was,
Yeah, that people saw the flogging and they took the flogging out of context. Oh my God. So, yeah, so a year after Pope Urban gives a speech, November 1096, the waves of Crusaders start flowing through Istanbul, capital of the Byzantine Empire. So they still weren't like in a cohesive force. So they rolled through Constantinople in waves over the course of 6 months.
yeah.
So it comes into play because the first to arrive was Godfrey, who every time like a wave of Crusaders came by, the dude you're talking about, Alexius or whatever,
Yeah.
he would get like whoever was in charge of them, he'd take them in, and he would just shower them with gifts and be like, yo, you're going to do what I want.
help me out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're going to help me out here. You kind of don't have a, you don't have a choice. And he would give them tons of like military, he promised them military reinforcements. And also he was like, I know how the Seljuk Turks operate because I've been fighting them. So he was like, I'll tell you what you need to do, but like I'm going to point to cities and you guys are going to do that.
Yeah.
That was a point of contention the whole time during it because they wanted Jerusalem, bro.
Yeah.
Like we're here. There was dudes who were really there for religious purposes, and they would just be kind of like, they'd be like, "We're going, dude. We're going. We just got to stop at this one." And they
Just stop here. Stop here.
They would get so mad.
Get me all this stuff.
Also, this has actually made me laugh. The deal was also that any cities captured that used to belong to the Byzantine Empire would be handed back to the empire. So like none of you French, because Alexius thought the French were notoriously, they were spazzes and they were selfish, greedy. He was like, they're selfish, greedy spazzes.
Yeah.
So he was like, I don't want them taking any of this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, they would, if they took a city, they would probably just be like, no, this is French now.
That was another one. That was another thing that was going on. And the thing that really like threw Godfrey for a loop is when he came into the room, Alexius didn't give him any kisses, dude. He just sat there like this in a throne. Usually it was a customary to get up and do kisses, and he was like, Alexius gave no kisses.
He didn't kiss.
Which kind of like threw Godfrey for a loop where he was like, damn, this dude fucking rules.
Oh, he respected
He
him.
thought it was so regal to be like, he was like looking at like a highborn lord and just went,
welcome.
and their cities were like unlike anything
Yeah.
they had over like fucking Paris was nothing compared to Constantinople. It was nothing. Like the walls they had around these cities were just fucking nuts.
Yeah, you got goddamn Seljuks outside throwing rocks.
True.
And shit at
They had
you.
a reason for them.
Yeah.
I mean, I wonder if they probably had some people. Do you think they had any people back then that were against them? The walls?
They were like, tear down the wall.
Tear down these walls.
Borders are bad. It's like we left the door open one night and 10 people got fucking skinned alive, dude. No, we got to get walls.
So over the course of 6 months, every single night basically accepted the same terms. They would just get showered in gifts. I'm like, yeah, well, like any city is yours. Like, they'd be like, they also wanted to be under his banner because they were like, this dude rules. They saw his city. They had like tons of like cool relics and shit. And they were like, dude, like that was a big, relics were a huge deal. So they were like, dude, we'll fight under your banner. They wanted him personally to lead them. So that was like a matter of honor.
Sick.
Which he never did. But the Count Raymore of Toulouse.
He wasn't getting up, dude. He wasn't getting up for kisses, and they're like, "We want you to lead us." And
He was watching. No, he'd be like, I'm not going to be anywhere near, but he was watching.
Yeah,
he comes into play later. But the Count Raymore of Toulouse was the only one who told Alexius to fuck off. This guy was so rich. He was like, bro, I don't give a fuck. He's like, I'll go do the cities you want me to, but I'll let you know what I decide to do. So he was the only one Alexius couldn't flip, and Alexius was like, whatever, I have enough people. So February 1097, the Crusaders arrive on the shores of Asia Minor and plan to attack Nicaea. And this is what happened. This is why the People's Crusade actually was good, because when they all went down there, so the Sultan of the region that the second wave of Crusaders came into was named Khalij Aslan, and he was the one in charge of like that area that had to smash all the poor guys who walked in there. So when he heard another wave of Crusaders was coming, he was just like, whatever, and he left.
He was like, great.
Dude, he was like, he wanted to handle like personal biz in the East. So he was like, I got to go do a land dispute. If these guys come, just fuck them up.
Just kill them again. He's
like, I'll be back. But him and all of his boys left, so they got to cross the Bosphorus, which I don't even know what that is, but that was like an area. I guess between like
That might be Turkey.
is that what that? Yeah, maybe. But they got to set up a beachhead, so that was a big deal. They got to like set up a good strategic position, completely uncontested, all because those poor idiots led by Peter the Hermit went and died. So that didn't all count to nothing.
The Bosphorus is where you cross to get from. So Istanbul borders Europe and Asia.
Okay.
And the Bosphorus is the strait that separates it.
Yeah, so they got to go across that completely uncontested and set up a beachhead, which I don't know what a beachhead is either, but I was like,
a beachhead
does sound pretty sick. I'm guessing it's some sort of like...
It's like a landing area.
Oh, okay.
It's like you set up kind of like a fort where you can cross.
So they
set up... to guess.
Yep.
It's just what I assume.
So they set up the beachhead. Also, Aslan was the one who had captured Nicaea and was using it for like his personal capital of, whatever his territory was. So May 6, 1097, Crusaders arrive outside of Nicaea, and the town is protected by 3 miles of 30-foot walls with 100 towers, they say.
Damn.
There's 100 battlements or whatever they call them. And the western edge of the city bordered the Ascanian Lake, which fucked them up because they wanted to set up a total blockade. And they couldn't because no matter what, they had like that partial, whatchamacallit. They could get reinforcements with ships, and there was nothing they could do for that. So, hold on, time out. There's a part that says jump to my notes. I think I passed by.
Jump to notes. Jump to notes. We're talking about the Siege of Nicaea. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah. But I'm trying to... my pages jumped a couple... Because I ran out of time doing it in my computer. All right, here we go. So we crossed the Asia Minor... Cardini, can you pause real quick? Here we go. I got him right now. So Khalij returns to the capital in late spring and just sees the capital. They're talking about Nicaea is surrounded by French forces. That he's like, damn, these guys have like horses and weaponry.
Yeah.
He's like, damn, I might have fucked up. So he's coming back. He sees her there. He goes, I'm going to launch a surprise attack. I'm going to launch a surprise attack on these dudes. And he probably would have fucked them up. But the secret plot was foiled because the French forces they just captured a Turkish spy who they tortured and threatened with death, and he spilled the beans about the surprise attack. So they knew that Khalij was coming again. He would have, if he surprised them, they said he would have fucked him up. So Khalij attacks. They know he's coming, and they just overwhelm him with their sheer numbers. Because again, they had like 60,000.
He spilled the goddamn beans.
They fucked up. They were ready for him, and they just completely overwhelmed him, ruined the surprise. Khalij has to retreat, and this was like a tremendous blow to the morale of his Muslim troops because back then the Muslims were like, and they were pretty much like militarily superior on like their strategy was better. They were
especially
better
there,
exactly
especially over there,
exactly for the temps and everything, and that kind of fucked them up because they were like, wait a second, like they didn't think they could lose these guys at all because they just slaughtered like 15,000 of them. So the Crusaders take the dead Muslim dudes, decapitated like hundreds of corpses, put their heads on pikes outside of the walls of Nicaea, and just sat there and just terrorized them. And they were even throwing heads over the wall. They were just being fucking jerks, dude.
They're being fucking
so
dickheads.
Then the Turks then responded by lowering. So they had Christians living within Nicaea, so they started killing their Christian population. You don't really hear about, but they started killing their Christian population.
You don't hear about that too much, but that's all right.
They start lowering down dead Christians on hooks outside of the walls. It's like oh yeah, fuck you. And they let these dead Christians rot outside the walls of their city.
Yeah.
So,
and the Crusaders were like, dude, we don't care.
They got pissed.
We don't even know those guys.
No, they would actually. So when they put the heads on the walls,
we're throwing the heads of your friends back.
The Muslims, they would cry and grit their teeth. But then when they would do it to us, we would cry and get upset too. So we would
not a lot of gnashing of teeth.
Yeah, we would. Both sides would cry and be like, "Oh, come on, what the fuck." So then the Crusaders are going, all right, so they got we can only do
all right, that's fucked up. Yeah, that's fucked up.
That's
dude.
the line.
Don't do that. Don't lower them down on hooks.
And I think the Muslims technically were punching down at this point.
They were punching down.
Because technologically they're superior. Yeah, so they were still punching down, which the Christians were like, that's not funny.
That's not funny. We're allowed to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's punching up.
So then the Crusaders are going, all right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do 2 styles of siege warfare simultaneously. We're going to do a blockade of the north, east, and south to slow their food intake, and we're going to launch siege warfare. We're going to scale the ladders, or we're going to scale the walls with ladders, which the ladders failed instantly.
Yeah.
So they got a 3/4 blockade. That's going well. I'm pretty sure the ladders just got pushed down off the walls.
Yeah.
Like that just didn't work at all. So then they try to build
God,
stone.
ladders are hard now. Like a 10-foot ladder in
Dude.
a house is scary.
I'm shaking
It's
with
like
someone.
metal.
Yeah, dude.
You have like a wooden 80-foot fucking or 30-foot
Dude,
ladder
that they built.
that a guy on top's just gonna. You're gonna get home alone right off that thing.
Dude, they would set up, chop down trees, and build siege weaponry right outside of your thing, and you'd be like, "What are they doing?" Like, they're building siege weaponry.
They're
Like,
trying to build weapons.
fuck.
It's like,
so you'd watch a bunch of like a construction site for like 4 days,
Yeah,
put
yeah.
together a ladder, and then just be like, "Get the fuck off!"
like, get the hot tar ready. We
Yeah.
gotta dump it on morons trying to crawl over.
They were destroying them with that stuff.
Hot tar would be a real negative experience.
So they started to build some stone throwing machines to break the walls, but like there was like pure North Korea missile launch. It was not going anywhere. So then they started to. This was actually kind of sick. They would get these really light ladders and they would set up like distractions on one part of the thing, so that like people started, and then they put up another ladder real quick and start kind of going over and fucking them up. So that was.
I like that walls worked for a long time.
Dude, they were really. I mean, you'd have
walls was just like, all right, we can't beat these guys.
It was over the wall.
They've got a wall.
But if you get a full blockade, you could starve them to death.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of people. That's like kind of like that was the most. It's pretty much all they try to do the whole time.
Yeah, siege.
So they're doing that. You know, they're trying to like sneak in and do all that. It was like they were kind of making some headway, but not really. And a lot of the times, the dudes who were like launching these like ladder attacks, like you were saying, it was you were getting. Oh no, that's what they were doing. They started trying to go. That's what they. So they had the ladders to go up and create a distraction, and then they'd run in and try to like sneak in and kind of disturb parts of the wall by hand. And meanwhile, they were getting their arrows at them, rocks dropped on them, and boiling oil to like just try to like dent the land or dent the whatchamacallit, the walls and fuck them up. And all the whole time they would put like these wooden timber shields over them. So they would. That was the thing they were doing. I'm sorry. They would have one guy putting a ladder up to distract, and then they had this big wooden thing. They'd kind of like sneak in under and try to like fuck the wall up, and they would just be dropping rocks and boiling oil on you. So the one they built was called the Fox. That was the one that kind of blocked the oil. So like if we have this wooden thing, it'll just kind of like go off the thing. So they 20 dudes were under it, and it collapsed on them and crushed them. So that was the northern guys, and the southern French guys made a sturdier, like big wooden shield, and they actually started a siege mine where that you start to dig underneath the walls. So like, fuck it, we'll go under the walls. If we can't go over, if we can't break the walls, we'll do a siege mine. And what they would do is that you would dig a hole and then light a fire because you wanted to like find their like underpinnings and burn them out, and then see like if you could get a bunch of earth out from under the walls would part of the walls would crumble. So they go in on June 1st, 1097. They set up their siege mine. They burn their wood, and a section of like the wall actually collapsed in the bottom. They got like a little bit of an opening. The Turks fixed it in one day, bro.
Son of a bitch.
No further progress was made.
Damn it.
No further progress was made. So then the Crusaders chilled for 2 weeks, just being like, I don't know, what do you want to do? But dude, Alexius had been sitting there chilling in the Ascian Lake. No one knew he was there. Small Navy fleet there. Just waiting he was to the west of the city. He'd been kind of watching, observing the siege, kind of like, all right, not too bad. He also sent his top eunuch general, Tacitus, who also had his nose sliced off and wore a golden replica. So he had a eunuch with no nose, no dong, who he was like, you go down there and advise the troops and like kind of help these guys.
Damn.
I'm going to chill up here. And then Alexius.
So he had a complete freak show. He had a they.
Dude, he had a full fucking
He had
they.
a complete they.
He had an absolute creature, dude.
One of the OG theys.
Yep. He had an
Like, sir, what do we do? Actually.
Tacitus. So he sends Tacitus down, but these guys would see him and be like, fuck this dude. He was mythical.
That guy's awesome.
Mythical. So then June 18th, Alexius dispatched his secret flotilla, which is a sick word, of of ships to cut Nicaea off. So he completed the blockade. So now they can actually do the
now they're going to start getting hungry.
Yep. So then as the city gets kind of fully constricted, the Franks launched another land attack on the Turks, and the Turks were like, we give up. They put up the ladders
they said
again.
uncle.
Yeah. So then the emperor, Alexius comes, meets with the French knights, and decides that Antioch is the next target. And he also goes, you guys can keep Tacitus and a small force of Byzantine troops. So Nicaea fell. They took Nicaea in, a few months. And he also kind of like, he sent the Tacitus and his bros nice. And he was like, that's when he started telling them like, dude, this is how you're going to have to cross now like a large strip of desert to go to Constantinople or no, Antioch. He's like, you're going to have to cross like some pretty brutal terrain. Here's how you do it. And like, here's what you do. So that's the start of crossing the Asia Minor. So these guys are all like nice. They're pumped on themselves. So they're still wrestling with a lack of centralized leadership because they're all trying to vie for like who's the top guy, and nobody really got the total glory because none of the Frenchmen were really successful. Southern French were kind of like high on their hog. The Northern guys were like, they stink this whole time. Yeah. They don't do anything. So the French guys are kind of like, this is nice, but really it was Alexius who came and turned the tides of the war. So that's kind of the big deal right now. It's like, how can we stay as one unified force? And also crossing Asia Minor, they were trying to figure out, they're like, if we stay in one cohesive force, it'll take us forever to cross. Because I guess it was a kind of like a narrow, there's parts of the roads that were kind of narrow. So they were like, either we're going to split into a bunch of little forces and move quickly, or stay in one big blob of people, which will take too long. So then they decided like, let's just split north and south, half and half. Yeah. That way we're still pretty strong, but we're a little lighter on the feet and we can move. So Khalij Aslan, so they split up. They're like, all right, let's start walking crossing the Asia Minor. The defeated Khalij amasses an army and he laid in wait for it. Like he's like, I'm gonna fuck these guys up when I see them, because they retreated back and they kind of like hung back there. So the first guys to come were the Northerners, and they did that Seljuk Turk warfare where they would encircle,
just ride around, shoot bows and arrows.
That's
on
what
your
they
horses.
did, dude. So they circled the Crusaders, and the Crusaders have no fucking clue what's going on. So some of them start to break rank and flee. But I guess Bohemond was with him as well. He was from the southern thing. So Bohemond and Robert somehow got all of their forces to hold their ground in the middle of the siege. They were like, dude, stand your ground. And they just just set up like a little makeshift defensive camp. So they're just getting pelted with arrows for hours, getting pelted. And they also, the only thing they did to boost morale, they did a whisper down the lane, and they went, stand together, brothers in Christ. And they all just did a, whatchamacallit. Oh, they said, stand fast together, trusting in Christ and the victory of the Holy Cross. Today, may we all gain much booty. That was the thing.
Yes.
That was the thing. They went, may all gain much booty.
At the end, it was like, Baldwin's mom's a slut.
So then they have this like makeshift kind of defensive camp. The Turks break the ranks and just start fucking going through, killing men, women, and children. And then this is when women started offering themselves up to the fucking Turks. Fully being like, this is like highborn noble wives being like, just take me. I'm like a princess. I'm a European. And they were like, come fuck me. Basically being like giving up the pussy.
Yeah.
They did the honeypot. The bros still held it down despite all of this stuff of like their kids dying, women just being
women immediately being like, well, things are going bad. I should probably fuck the guys who are winning.
Turncoats, yeah.
Disgusting.
Turncoats, dude. So but then the southern force eventually arrives 5 hours into the Turks breaking ranks, and it's just a fucking melee. Southern forces arrive and repel the Turks. Sweet. You're dealing with 4,000 Christians dead, 3,000 Turks died. And that like makeshift, in that little like quick little surprise attack. Khalij gives up at this point because it was technically a loss for the Turks since they were the ones who had to retreat. So the Christians, after that battle, that was like their last like military thing they had to go through. So now they get to pass through Anatolia for a 3-month march. This is the summer of 1097. So after they do that, they get hit with starvation and disease. They actually don't have any water. So 500 people died, along with a bunch of oxen, mules, and horses. And then there's dudes walking around with their mouth open trying to catch the mist. And finally, after, however long it took, they found a river, and a bunch more people died from drinking too much water. People and animals pigged out on the water and died. And there's another thing too. They have they went into like extensive detail over how many like oxes and mules and horses died. That was like a huge, they almost seemed more concerned about it than people, because they were like, dude, it was like losing your whip, dude. These knights had to start walking. They were like, these boots were not made for walking, dude.
They got all that fucking armor and shit.
Yeah. So that kind of fucked them up. Also, at some point during this journey, Godfrey gets attacked by a bear and lives.
Fucking bear attacked him.
This is just to get to the other place.
Yeah.
Baldwin breaks off and heads. He went east towards Syria, and he wants to set. He was like, "Fuck you guys, I'm out. I'm setting up my own lordship." But they would be like, "We're also gonna." He's like, "I'm gonna help."
Something funny?
What?
8 million horses died in World War One.
Really?
That seems high.
Yeah. I'd have to see the pictures.
I think they're lying.
I'd have to see I mean, they do say practice skepticism to everything you hear.
When I hear that 8 million horses died, I go, that's a lot of
That's
horses.
the scientist in me. I just go, how many of those guys?
Too many.
And they did what? I need proof. I'm a scientist.
Yeah. Me. I'm sorry.
So this guy, Baldwin, breaks off and he goes, look, I'm going to go check out these other places and set up like my own cities just so I can really help you guys.
Yeah.
So I'm
looking out for you guys.
And he said he was going down to free Armenian Christians from the Turks. So he goes and he starts fucking up like Turkish villages. And the Armenian ruler, his name is Thoros, invites Baldwin to just join with him. And he's like so pumped on Baldwin. He's like, he adopts him as a son. They did this weird like ceremony where they both put on one shirt together. It's like, that's to signify. Yeah, Baldwin is like, gay. This is gay. And then months later, the king was suspiciously murdered. And Baldwin just completely took the whole place over.
What the fuck happened to him? Anyway,
Baldwin
I'll take over.
He was like, yeah, dude, I'll be your son, and just fucking murdered the guy.
Yeah.
So then he takes control of this like weird kingdom in Armenia, and he was the very first one to start a Latin state of his own in the east. It was named Idea or something. So autumn 1097, the armies of the Crusades regroup in Syria. They're not doing well, and now they have to capture Antioch. So the first one was kind of like, yeah, this is cool. Now they're like genuinely really fucked up.
Yeah, they're on fumes.
They're definitely on fumes.
They're
So
dying.
one of their boys broke off and absolutely came up, which kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Broke off, and he's like now the king of Armenia. Also, that's tough. That's a tough condition. So Antioch was nestled between the Orontes River and the foot of two different mountains. I think the Romans had actually built it. So it was a 3-mile wall, 60 feet high with 60 towers. That's fun. I mean, the first one was 30 feet. This is 60 feet high. So, but the thing is, and this is what kind of gave them the first Crusades, the Turkish leadership was like, it was nothing but brats. It was all spoiled brats, and they were constantly having power struggles between them. So the city of Antioch was being torn apart by a civil war between two brothers. And they also, for some reason, only had 500 soldiers in the city, which was enough to man the defenses.
The walls of Antioch are fucking cool looking.
It was the Romans, bro. The Romans fucking fortified it. And it just sat there for, however long. And they only had 500 soldiers inside of the walls. So that wasn't, but it was enough to man the defenses, but it was kind of like, it's not the best if they get in there. So there were 6 gates. The Latins set up another partial blockade because they could only do 3 of the 6 gates of the city, and then did the same thing where they try to launch light skirmishes, and they started doing psyops too. The same shit where they were like trying to catapult dead bodies into the walls. So after the first small skirmish, they were like going up, killing people, getting knocked off the ladders or whatever. They took 100 dead Muslims, piked their heads like usual. And at night, the Muslims snuck out to bury the dead people that were up on like the pikes and take their bodies. And the Crusaders noticed this, dug the bodies up, defiled the corpses, and then the Turks got very sad. And then again, the Muslims do a thing of killing Antioch Christians and hanging them over the walls and like threw their heads over with catapults at the Crusaders. The Crusaders get pissed off. And then it's wintertime. And the bros start freezing, dude. So they don't have any food. Yeah, they don't have any food, and like I think 1 out of 5 of the Crusaders died this winter of 1098. So now we're in January, dude. People are eating dogs and rats, animal skins and seeds and grains found in manure, and they're trying to figure out why God is punishing them. Because they're like, they also had like a religious leader. So now that like 1 in 5 people are dying of starvation, they go to the bishop and they're kind of like, dude, what the fuck? Like, make sense of this is bullshit. And I think it's your fault. And the bishop literally goes and prays on it. And he goes, guys, It's the women.
It's not my fault.
He says the women. He literally came to the Crusaders. He goes, these women are fucking sinning. So the women have to be, you got to send all your wives back. These guys got to get the fuck out of here. They're fucking it up for everybody. So, then, you know, and some people, obviously there's dudes start to desert. People are like, this is bullshit. Peter the Hermit tries to run away. And they catch him by Tancred, by the way. Tancred catches Peter the Hermit and he goes, dude, get the fuck back here. They drag his ass back. They didn't let him desert, which kind of bullshit on
Peter Hermit's
PDH.
a bitch.
He's a total fucking pussy. So they lead two separate, the two Muslim forces attack them as well during the winter, but the Muslims are repelled. So that kind of rolls. Spring 1098, food and resources arrive. I think the British actually sent them. So they send English ships with like weapons and all kinds of materials so they can build proper siege weapons. April 1098, the city is okay. So the city they cut even more doors off. They cut more gates off to the city, and they also had some more like support come, and eventually, but then so they're like, all right, we're gonna go pretty good. Oh no, they had the Shiites rolled up, and the Shiites were like, yo, they just came and like checked them out, and we're like, we got you if you need us, because that actually worked pretty well.
Yeah.
People say the Franks were barbarians, but they did enough stuff to like send people down, talk to the Shiites, because there was that Sunni Shiite kind of divide. So the Shiites were kind of like, yeah, we'll ride with you guys. Now they're pumped, but then they hear that the Sultan of Baghdad is sending a large force of Antioch, 40,000 Syrian and Mesopotamian troops, which would outnumber the surviving French 2-1. So they catch that news and they literally go, shit.
We gotta hurry.
So they set up an emergency council. So Bohema devises a pretty nasty plan because they're like, now it's like they got to get within the walls of the city or they're going to die. So he tells the council of all the other noblemen, he goes, look, what if one of us devises a plan to actually get into the city and like takes it over, could we just say that it's that person's city?
Keepsies.
Yeah, it was Keepsies. Yeah. He calls Keepsies. He's like, whoever
does it.
I'm not saying it's me, but like, would you guys be cool with that? And they were so desperate. They're like, yeah, dude, for sure. So Bohema goes, well, now that we've made that deal, I actually have a man. He's got a man on the inside of the city, and he goes, he'll let us inside of the city.
He's gonna open the door.
We don't got to. He'll just let us in.
Like, damn, that's a good plan.
It was really nasty, dude.
Yeah, I could have had these doors open the whole time, but
actually, they did have to do a wall, but he was like, I'll have a designated spot we can just get over stealthily, no problem. So a few nights later, this is what a beast Bohema is too, or Bohema. He doesn't go over himself either. So he gets a small force of dudes one night. Because, dude, if they got caught, they're decimated.
Yeah.
He sends a small force. They put a ladder up against an unmanned section of the wall that dude basically told him, like, this is where it's good. And he had his boy, the guy, the inside man, was waiting there to, like, receive him. So they a small force goes in, sneaks up on tower guards, is, like, stabbing them, killing them. And then fucking Bohema gets a signal, blasts a bugle, and then sends a bunch of more. He's like, just go. Yeah. Sends a bunch of dudes over the wall, and they're all doing the God wills it scream. Nice. God wills it, and they're going over. And then the Christians living in Antioch, like, saw what was going on. Up. They rose up. So Rising up, dude. They go in, and they literally slaughtered all of them while the sun rose. Slaughtered all the Muslim dudes in there. But there's a citadel on top of the mountain that remained occupied by the ruler of Antioch. So that dude just kind of sat there in like an untouchable fortress at the very top of a mountain for the time being and was like, fuck. The next day, Kerboga's 40,000. What time are we at?
We're at 1:13.
We'll pause. We'll do part two.
No, what happens?
You want to know?
Yeah.
Sick. The next day, Kerboga's 40,000 troops. That next day, 40,000 bros roll up and they surround the city. So now they were hoping the Byzantine Empire would come and save them. But there was a deserter from the French army when shit got really bad. There were a lot of people deserting. He ran into Alexius and was like, "Yo, we're fucked. They're all gonna die. Don't even waste your time over there." So Alexius abandoned them, and having no idea the fortunes changed like overnight, real quick. So this is June 10th, 1098. Kerboga, whatever his name is, pours in with all of his forces, and he's doing wave after wave for 4 days. As Bohema resists at the eastern walls. And again, more people are starting to desert, but then Bohema barricades the gates and he's like, you guys, we're killing anyone who tries to leave.
Yeah.
Fuck this. June 14th, Kerboga circles the camp and he's really starving them out, and it works really well. So the Crusaders start eating leather straps and like all kinds of weird weeds and shrubs. More people are dying. Morale's at like an all-time fucking low.
Yeah.
So then that night, a small group of French people led by a peasant visionary, Peter Bartholomew. This is kind of like a Peter the Hermit type. He claimed that a ghost of St. Andrew revealed to him that the spear that pierced Jesus' side was buried in St. Peter's Basilica. So then that day he convinced a bunch of people to go dig in this basilica for hours. And they finally found a small shard of metal that they were like,
This has got to be it.
we found it. Like, we got it. So then Raymond of Toulouse, he was the guy who was like the head noble on this mission. So he bent down and kissed it. And this was kind of like his thing now. Because he was like, I'm the nobleman. My mystic guy was the one who found it. So his stock starts rising big time.
Yeah,
Because
it's like, I have the thing that stabbed Jesus.
yeah. So it's really, the story of this is actually, I'll end with the story of this. This is very funny. So the troops get kind of electrified. They're showing this relic they found. They're like, okay, we're going to turn this around. The girls left. The bishop was right. This fucking rules. But also they didn't do anything right away. So they wait 2 weeks. Then the French forces are going like, dude, we're definitely going to die in here. We need to launch just a suicide mission on Kerboga and all of his forces. Like, maybe we can kind of fuck him up and then ask for terms. Basically what they did in that World War I movie. He's like, if we just go nuts, maybe he'll be like, all right. Like, honorable surrender. So I think though they first send out terms. Kerboga goes, no, like, I'm going to kill you. You guys are dead. So June 28th, the Crusaders are like, fuck, man, fuck. It's like, we got to get out of here and we got to do a death march and attack those guys and just go out like men. So Kerboga's kind of camp. He has a perimeter surrounding the city, starving them. He has all of his forces drawn back. And Kerboga hears it, like, they open the gates and they're going mad dog. And he could have sent all of his forces in and crushed them instantaneously. But he hesitated because he goes, I kind of want them to come all the way out. Yeah. So then I can, like, I don't want them running back to the city and shutting the gates again. He's like, I want to take them out once and for all. He got impatient. So he's waiting. And it's like they start smashing because they're all charged up with the relic. They start smashing through the lines that were, like, I guess, encircling them. Yo, some guy just come outside. So they smash through the ranks that are encircling them. And the Muslim forces start kind of panicking. So they retreat. And then Kerboga goes, fuck it, send all my forces. So the two Muslim forces clash into each other because they're retreating into like an attacking force. They start bumping into each other and they're like, what the fuck's going on? Everyone runs away. And Kerboga just goes, he's so embarrassed that he kind of hesitated and fucked it up that he just fucking flees. They all just left. He was like, this is bullshit.
Fleeing is great. Be like, you know what? Fuck this. Fuck, I fucked up, dude. Let's get the fuck out of here.
So yeah, he left in shame, dude. He retreated. The Crusaders went, and then they went and took the Citadel. So now they're like, all right, cool. We have time. They climbed that mountain. They got that guy out there and like cut his head off, whatever. So his name was Raymond of Aguilé. That was the guy. That was the nobleman who paraded the relic around. Now everyone's like, dude, Raymond's the man. So he's en route now to be the dude to like control all of the stuff. But there was still, I think Raymond of Toulouse, the old guy, was kind of like, nah, bro, I'm the man. So now there's this whole thing that happens where they're sitting in the city and they're like, I think Raymond of Toulouse is like, I'm going to keep this city. Fuck this. Fuck Alexius. I did it. He never came and helped us. And they had like a big fight about that. Who's going to control the city? But then like the other soldiers were like, yo, you're messing up my fucking religious points. We got to march on to the next city. Yeah. And they wanted Jerusalem, but they had to go to another, city that was like Alexius' city to take that too. So they're chilling there, they're figuring stuff out. And eventually the guy, I think Raymond of Aguilé, starts kind of doing his own little conquest of little cities because they're all following him. Yeah. And then he does like greedy stuff of like taking cities. And then they start threatening, like, we're going to kill you. So they start turning on him. So he's using the guy, Peter Bartholomew, to kind of keep him in line as like the spiritual advisor because they're all pumped on the relic. But then they start figuring out like, dude, this Aguilé guy is kind of a dickhead. And eventually he's still doing well though. They like him. But there was a new, so the bishop dies. The guy who told all the girls go home,
all the pussy.
He dies. And then Peter Bartholomew starts going like, I had a vision because that guy was like, Peter Bartholomew was full of shit. Fuck that. Don't listen to him. But there was a big divide in the camp. And that guy dies. So Peter Bartholomew goes, oh my God, I had a dream last night and that fucking bishop who used to hate me was actually like really repentant. He's in hell right now. He's sorry for what he said about me. And they were like, holy shit, this dude's the man. Yeah. And then eventually this guy Aguilé's rising. It's looking good for him. But Peter Bartholomew wouldn't chill. And he was like, the Lord told me we got to kill like 2,000 of our own men. And so now the soldiers are like, fuck this guy. Fuck this guy. And they're like, this guy's a fraud. So now they're like, everything's good. They don't know what's going on. This is before they attacked the other city. And so they're like, dude, bullshit. That guy's full of shit. So Peter Bartholomew's like, dude, I'll do a trial by fire. If I get burnt, obviously I'm a liar, but the Lord will save me. So they do like I think it was like I had notes on my phone about it, but it was like a 40-foot long gauntlet of like 11-foot high flames. And he was like, I'll walk through it. When I come out unscathed, we're going to kill like the thousands of people that I think are being kind of like sinful. So apparently he fucking runs through it as fast as he can, screaming. he gets out of the other side and they just beat the shit out of him and kill him. And then there were some people who claimed like he actually was fine, but they kicked his ass. But people were like, dude, fuck him. He came out of it screaming. We beat him to death. And then the guy, Raymore of Aguilera, his political shit just fucking dropped off and you never hear about him ever again. And then I think they're going now they were going to do another city, but because the people are getting so pissed off about people squabbling about cities, I think now they're heading to Jerusalem after Antioch. And that'll be the final battle, which is
Part
just
2.
as nasty. Yeah.
Part 2.
Just as nasty.
Matt, that was great.
Thank you, dude.
That was fun.
But yeah, dude, the Crusades are the best. The Firewalk is so fucking
Firewalk's
funny.
hilarious. Dude, guys, I'm going to come out of this unscathed. All right, here we go.
Kill me. Fucking kill me.
Fucking beat his ass, dude.
They just all close in on him. All the dudes are like, you should kill him. They just waited for him. We're like, fucking beat his ass.
He died.
Nice.
Crusades, dude.
Crusades Part 2.
Wow.
Coming soon.
Yeah, yeah.
Just in time. I gotta drop some coins out of my ass. A Muslim's holding me hostage right now. Well,
Yeah, it was nice.
thank you guys. Thank you,
Finally
Matt.
delivered. Good thing we waited.
We're
dude.
not done yet. That's only part 1.
That's part 1. We delivered. Dude, the auxiliary research helps, by the way. You kept apologizing. I'm like, that's not breaking in,
It's
dude.
gonna be me pooping.
You were fucking whatchamacallit? You were a Byzantine flotilla. Every now and again I'd lose my place and you'd fucking waft down to the Ascanian.
Alexios.
Actually killed different Jews too.
Alexios. They just kept killing Jewish people.
Knock it off.
What is
Stop.
that?
Knock it off so I
is
can
going
enjoy
on?
comedy.
Yeah. I try to enjoy comedy, but Richard the fucking Lionheart told London to kill Jewish people. Now you can't even tell jokes
Jeez.
at the Carlos Mencia show. People go, what the fuck was that? I remember what Richard the Lionheart did. We don't want to do that again. That's how it started.
Yeah.
Richard the Lionheart.
Yeah, man.
Well, just all of a sudden somebody cracks a joke and someone's like, yeah, you think that's funny? Watch this. That was funny too, wasn't it? And they go, yeah.
Did you I don't know if this is real, but did you hear there was what was that night called, like Crystal Block or whatever?
Crystal knocked?
Yeah, they did a Crystal Knock sale, like a big corporation in Germany did a sale thinking they were like fuck Nazis or doing a sale for Crystal Knock, but it came off like really badly. They did like a Crystal Knock it could be a fake. It was like a thing I saw online.
Had to be fit. I mean,
but it was like a
no
tweet.
That's about as short-sighted as it gets.
I know. I don't know if that's real. It might be fake news, but someone sent me that and I started laughing like, dude, if that was honestly like a HR or whatever, like a corporate publicity faux pas, that'd be very funny.
Tonight's Crystal knocked sale.
Blowout sale, dude.
Yeah. We're going to just break the fucking glass.
We're smashing
We're
these
going to
prices.
smash the front door of our building and you run in and beat the shit out of the owners and take everything.
For 50% off.
Nice. Part 2.
Yeah, coming soon.
Coming soon.
Jerusalem, the final battle.